Dubai is presented to the world as a showcase of absolute wealth, immaculate artificial beaches, skyscrapers that defy physics, and supercars cruising as if they were ordinary taxis. The image is carefully constructed to sell success, luxury, and extreme modernity. But every city that seems too perfect hides something behind the curtain. And here, what sustains that perfection does not appear on postcards. There is a Dubai that does not appear in reels. Neighborhoods where workers share tiny rooms, crowded buses at dawn, and shifts that begin before sunrise. Far from five-star hotels, the city operates in a silent and disciplined routine. The question is not whether this exists, it is why almost no one talks about it when mentioning Dubai. And this omission begins to reveal how the image is carefully edited. In this video, you will discover laws that seem exaggerated, prohibitions that catch tourists by surprise, and social rules that are not written on signs. Some seem absurd at first glance, others only make sense when you understand the system behind them. Dubai operates with a level of control that blends tradition, economy, and international image, and that is where curiosities stop being curious and start being strategic. More than 88% of Dubai's population is made up of immigrant workers, mainly from India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. They are the ones who build the skyscrapers, keep the hotels running, and sustain the economy the world admires. The city of luxury is, in practice, a city of workers. This proportion completely changes the way you see Dubai, because it reveals who truly carries the weight of the showcase. The kafala system legally ties many workers to their employer, limiting job changes or departure from the country without formal authorization. In practice, the residence visa is linked to the contract. This creates a relationship of dependence that goes beyond ordinary employment. In Dubai, this rule is not an exception. It is a structural part of the economic model, and understanding this helps explain why discipline there is not merely cultural. In Dubai, debt is not just a financial problem. It can become a police matter. Bounced checks are a crime, and leaving payments pending can result in arrest or an exit ban from the country. For those who come from places where debt is a civil issue, this seems extreme. But here, commercial trust is protected with absolute rigor, and this detail completely changes the weight of any contract signed in the city. Dubai has one of the densest surveillance systems in the world, with cameras spread across streets, subways, malls, and highways. The promise is near absolute security, and crime rates reinforce this narrative. But this constant presence also creates the feeling that nothing goes unnoticed. For the distracted visitor, this is invisible. For those who understand the system, it is a central part of how the city is organized. In Dubai, not all internet is truly open. Various platforms and websites are blocked, and voice or video calls via WhatsApp, Skype, and similar services are restricted or prohibited. Officially, the justification involves regulation and protection of the state telecommunications company. For the visitor, the surprise comes quickly. The app works until you try to call. And this small frustration reveals how control is also digital. Alcohol exists in Dubai, but always with an asterisk. It can only be consumed in licensed hotels, authorized bars, and by non-Muslims. Drinking in public is a crime, and intoxication outside these spaces can lead to a fine or detention. For many tourists, this goes unnoticed until the wrong moment. The city allows, but within well-defined limits, and understanding where freedom ends there is more important than it seems. In Dubai, public displays of affection can cross the legal line. Kissing in public, even on the cheek, has resulted in fines and detentions, including involving tourists. What for many is an automatic gesture can there be interpreted as an offense to public morality. The rule is not posted on every corner, but it exists. And the visitor only finds out when crossing a limit they did not even know was there. In Dubai, what you publish online can have real consequences. Offensive comments, public accusations, or even an emoji considered obscene can lead to a fine, imprisonment, and even deportation. Legislation treats digital attacks as an extension of public space. For those accustomed to freer social media, the shock is immediate. There, the internet is not neutral territory, and a screenshot can become official evidence. In Dubai, photographing someone without consent can result in a complaint, fine, or lawsuit. Images of government buildings, military areas, or the palace are also restricted and can take a tourist straight to the police station. What seems like an innocent click becomes a legal infraction. In a place where image is power, controlling who photographs what is part of the system. And this detail even changes the way you point the camera. In Dubai, dances considered provocative in public places can result in a warning or detention. There have been tourists approached for recording viral choreographies in the middle of the street. What in many countries is spontaneous entertainment can there be interpreted as disrespect to public morality. The city does not forbid fun, it regulates the context. And this invisible limit is where many visitors make mistakes without realizing it. In Dubai, some medications considered common in many countries, such as codeine, Ritalin, or certain anxiolytics, are classified as controlled substances. Entering with them without a valid prescription and official authorization can result in detention at the airport. For those who travel without checking local laws, the shock is immediate. Here, what is treatment in one place can be an infraction in another. In Dubai, very short, transparent, or excessively revealing clothing outside the beach can lead to a warning and, in extreme cases, detention. Malls and public spaces follow implicit codes of conduct that blend religious tradition and international image. There is no sign on every corner explaining this, but looking around already reveals the standard. And noticing this detail avoids embarrassment that many tourists only understand too late. During Ramadan, eating, drinking, or smoking in public during the day is prohibited, including for tourists and non-Muslims. Restaurants close or cover their windows, and the city changes its rhythm until sunset. For those unaware of the rule, the mistake can cost a fine. More than law, it is institutionalized cultural respect, and it is during this period that Dubai most clearly reveals where tradition and modernity meet. In Dubai, the official weekend has been Saturday and Sunday since 2022, but for decades it was Thursday and Friday. The work week begins on Sunday, something that still confuses many newcomers. The change sought to align the economy with global markets without completely breaking with local traditions. It seems like a calendar detail, but it alters rhythm, business, and social gatherings. And this small difference already changes your perception of time there. In Dubai, there are ATMs that dispense gold bars and coins instead of money. Installed in luxury malls, they function like any regular ATM, except the withdrawal is precious metal. What for many seems like tourist eccentricity is treated there with naturalness. The city has transformed a historic symbol of wealth into an everyday experience. And this reveals how luxury in Dubai is almost institutionalized. The Dubai police include Lamborghini, Ferrari, Bugatti, and Bentley in their official fleet. It is not just tourist marketing. These vehicles are used in specific functions, especially in high-end areas and international events. The image impresses, but it also communicates power and efficiency. In a city where luxury is language, even authority speaks through aesthetics. And this reveals how image and control walk together there. Camel racing is a tradition in the Emirates, but today the jockeys are remotely controlled robots. The change replaced children who previously performed this role after international criticism. Small devices are attached to the saddles while trainers follow by car alongside the track. The scene seems futuristic, but it reveals pragmatic adaptation to global pressure. And here, tradition does not disappear, it reinvents itself. For a long time, Dubai did not use conventional addresses with street and number. Deliveries were made based on landmarks, near the mosque, next to that hotel. Even with the gradual implementation of a formal system, many residents still use this logic. For those arriving expecting Western precision, this is confusing, but it reveals how the city grew too fast to be planned from the beginning. In summer, when temperatures exceed 40 degrees C, something common in Dubai, construction work is legally interrupted between 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. The measure seeks to protect workers from extreme heat, which can become dangerous within minutes. The city that never stops in practice pauses by solar decree. It seems like a climate detail, but it shows how even time is regulated to keep the system functioning. In less than 20 minutes by car from central Dubai, asphalt gives way to dunes. The desert begins where the city ends, and residents take quad bike rides on weekends as if it were an urban park. The transition is almost abrupt. Glass and steel become sand and silence. This proximity is not only geographic, it explains the permanent contrast that defines the city. Dubai is not exaggeration, it is not theater, it is not just luxury, it is a system. A system where strict laws, social control, international image, and religious tradition coexist with futuristic skyscrapers and gold in ATMs. What seems strange to the visitor is simply normal within the local logic. The city does not function despite the rules, it functions because of them. And perhaps the real lesson here is not about Dubai, but about how every society operates with invisible rules that we only notice when we are foreigners. The next time you travel, observe fewer buildings and more behaviors. That is where culture truly lives. If this type of investigation made you see beyond the postcard, subscribe to the channel and tell me in the comments, which of these rules surprised you the most?